So there's a lot of you. There's a whole lot of you right now. Okay, all right. So first off, I want to make this very clear. Hello. Hello. There's thank you for the overwhelming support on the YouTube upload or the YouTube video Snowpiercer reaction. That was awesome. I'm happy you guys, really enjoyed that. It was one of my first reactions, and to see it get that much love, that's cool. Welcome. Hello. If you're new here, which is a lot of you, I want to say my name is James Adams. I am a filmmaker myself, director, cinematographer, editor. Basically, I do a lot. Yeah, one of my ventures, I wanted to kind of start this YouTube channel to share my insight and also just use this as a way to breathe some life into the doomsday situation of what we consider quarantine right now. So yeah, thank you for that. I just wanted to let that moment be for you guys. And I just want to say thank you for stopping by. Going off of the Snowpiercer video, I made a mention. Wilford seems like the big man of the train, the Willy Wonka man. During the video, saying that Wilson is in fact the Willy Wonka man. And some of you have hinted at another video that kind of taunts the conspiracy theory of Wilson actually being Willy Wonka. In fact, Snowpiercer being a sequel to Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, I'm just as confused as some of you are, but I mean, turns out there's a whole video on it. So I took the time to look at the first 5 minutes of it, and boy, it gets deep. So I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of like have this video be for you guys, and kind of dive into the madness of this conspiracy, because it's pretty awesome. So without further ado, again, grab your popcorn, favorite pancake, and your favorite juice box. Let's get right into this video. As always, please support the official release of these videos. They worked really hard to put this content out. All I'm doing is just providing a commentary and also just some funny insight here and there. So please support these artists, please support the movies, please support all the content that isn't actually mine. And yes, again, thank you for stopping by. So without further ado, let's get into why Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
So one of my favorite filmmakers is the South Korean director Bong Joon-ho. I remember seeing his film The Host when it came out in theaters when I was like 16, and it blew my mind.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
Really dark and quirky, and he didn't really break out in the US in a huge way until Snowpiercer. One interesting thing about it was that it reminded me of my favorite movie of all time. Okay, I may have lost a lot of you. How could an incredibly violent R-rated movie set in the post-apocalypse from 2013 possibly remind me of a children's classic from the 1970s?
And I'm sure he's going to get into it in great detail, but I mean, now looking back at it, if I were to give kind of like my insights on where he's probably going to go to, everything from the bars that were in the film to the giant W of Wilson's brand implanted into the train to the actual train itself and the crazy, creepy society that lived within it. It kind of was its own terrain. So, yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's get back into it.
Well, they're both two movies about groups of people that work their way through a large, fantastic structure. One by one, a person from the group is removed in each room until one person makes it to the very end, who then found out that the entire thing was a test because a wealthy industrialist needed to find a new successor.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you still with me?
I'm very with you.
The more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm convinced that Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka, and Ed Harris plays the adult version of Charlie Bucket, who took over Wonka's candy empire, and who is the one who built the super train.
I mean, he kind of already started it off with pretty good conspiracy hints right there. I mean, it is true. There's a group of people and they're going into a place that's probably owned by a multi-billionaire, and all of it was a test to kind of have him take over the reins of the train or chocolate factory. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm pretty excited about this. And if you guys again please show love to the original video, Rhino Stew Film Theory. Thank you for making this video, man. I can only imagine how much effort you put into it. So I hope that if you happen to fall on this video, just know that I appreciate your hard work.
Before I start getting into the specifics, let's take a look at the broad commonalities that these movies have. Both of the plots heavily revolve around economic class structures, children, food, and I mean food in a big way.
I know what people taste like.
Roast beef and a baked potato.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of food going on, and it wasn't all candy.
These stories thematically examine sacrifice, choice, and free will. There are few moments in Willy Wonka, if you think about them, play into the idea of fate and the roles that certain people are destined to fulfill.
You ask a fish how it swims.
I would love for him to explain more about that.
You don't. They do it because they were born to do it.
I am a hat. You are a shoe. We must each of us occupy
Yes, fate in that
our
sense.
preordained particular position.
And I'm gonna touch more on that because I know he probably has a lot to say, but I'll make this super quick. Yeah, now looking at it, fate was talked about in a way, not just saying, oh yeah, it's your destiny to, accomplish your dreams, but it's more like people telling others people's fates and saying, no, you are just the shoe. I am the person wearing the shoe. There's no escaping from that reality. That is your fate, and you are doomed to be in that position no matter what. And that's usually how economic imbalances in terms of power are usually made. You are basically dooming people to their fate of just being lower than you.
Curtis, this is your destiny.
Now let's look at the hard facts.
Yeah.
Remember that Willy Wonka specializes in creating two different things in his factory.
Those Oompa Loompas are dangerously creepy. Acid nightmare.
State-of-the-art food production.
That's very true. Yes. Yep.
And experimental modes of transportation.
Yeah. Train.
And he does all of this in a factory that is completely sealed off from the outside world, meaning that Wonka has the technology to make a food-producing factory that is self-contained and self-sustaining.
And this train is a closed ecosystem.
Nobody ever goes in.
Nobody ever comes out.
Nobody ever comes out.
With that in mind, let's try to piece together a hypothetical timeline that links these two movies. At the end of Willy Wonka, Charlie inherits the factory. He does his best to continue Wonka's philosophy of decadence and imagination. But let's suppose that Charlie ends up forsaking his last name Bucket and as an apprentice takes on the name of Wonka, specifically Wilfred Wonka. And also
So this is where I probably, I've been saying Wilson this whole time. Please forgive me.
his teacher is sure to brand everything with a giant W.
I did notice that.
Fast forward to 2014. In an effort to combat global warming, the governments of the world agree to disperse the gas CW7. Charlie, now known as Wilfred, is one of the few people that can foresee the devastating consequences of this gas.
Yeah, because he's probably a billionaire.
Given his experience in chemistry, which is actually foreshadowed in this overlooked scene in the original Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I definitely forgot that he was ever interested in chemistry. It's a pretty cool connection. I had no idea.
Realizing that CW7 would be too effective in cooling the planet, Charlie devised his only plan that he could to save the rest of humanity.
The train.
By focusing on Wonka's transportation and self-sustaining aspects and making the Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
Under the guise that it was simply just another luxury product. Saving all of humanity comes at a great cost, though. Charlie knows that the population is going to have to be strictly regulated in order to keep the train self-sustaining, which is going to involve the loss of human lives.
Oh, yeah. A whole lot of it. It was a whole lot of lives being lost.
Same number.
Yes, it still stands at 74%.
This important role that percentages will play in his future is once again foreshadowed in a classroom scene.
percentages. And for an example, let's take the recent unpleasantness.
Surviving the near extinction of the human race causes Charlie to go completely insane and take drastic measures in order to try and preserve humanity. But it is important to note he still holds on to Wonka's sense of decadence and imagination. In fact, there's a lot of things that he borrows from Wonka's playbook. All of Wilford's shock and awe manipulation tactics were actually learned from Willy Wonka.
Understood we need to maintain a proper balance of anxiety and fear.
Oh, that's great.
Chaos
Love how he
and
did that.
horror in order to keep life going. And if we don't have that, we need to invent it.
When it came time to find a successor, Wilford even borrowed Wonka's method of hiding messages inside of food.
Very true. Wow. I didn't even piece that together. That's the most famous thing about the Chocolate Factory.
What? Oh, don't tell me you didn't know. Gilliam and I.
I'm talking about the spy.
Come in, Mr. Wilkinson. Charlie, meet Mr. Wilkinson.
Pleasure.
Slugworth.
No, that's not Slugworth. He works for me.
All right, pause for a second. Feel free to
please.
call me crazy if you haven't already. But don't you think that there's a little bit more than a passing resemblance between Mr. Wilkinson, the spy hired by Willy Wonka to play Slugworth, and Gilliam?
Yeah,
the
I was just
leader
about
of
to
the
say
Back
that. He
section?
looks dangerously like him. This
Would
is
it be
crazy.
Too much of a
Holy
stretch
crap,
to
look at that.
assume that they are in fact the same person. The timelines match
Jesus.
up. It makes sense that Wilford would refer to Gilliam as an old friend. And having it be the same character adds a layer of significance to this moment from earlier in the movie.
I'm a shadow of my former shadow. My day was decades ago.
And the strange thing
This is crazy.
he might not be the only character still alive.
Really?
Fair warning, even I think this next part's a bit of a stretch, so if you want to get back to more reasonable things in this already unreasonable video, just skip to this mark.
Nope, we diving all the way in. You already got my attention, so let's do this. We're diving in together.
There's something weird about the passengers in first class that
Very.
Wilford has in charge of the train. Why would these people who are insane and selfish be left in charge? Well, one could look at it as a deliberate statement of satire, or maybe these were all significant figures from Wilford's past. One of the most mysterious and enigmatic figures in Snowpiercer is
God,
the
he was so
seemingly
annoying.
unstoppable and almost mute
Yeah.
gunman, Franco the Elder.
He was so annoying. He was cool, though. He was very cool.
Well, what if he's had an obsession with guns since he was a child?
I'm Mike TV.
Get the heck out.
Well, you're dead.
One can easily see
He was very
how
talkative,
this young
though.
boy with an obsession of fictional violence could grow up to become a deadly soldier.
Like the killings, huh?
What do you think life's all about?
Mike, would you tell us?
That was a really good cut. That was very good.
Maybe Charlie/Wilford kept his fellow golden ticket winners around as an example of his twisted sense of mercy.
And Wilford is divine.
Yeah, but how did he become mute? Because in the original movie of The Chocolate Factory, he was very talkative. I would like to know how he became mute and almost a stone cold killer, and also invincible.
Tilda Swinton gave an iconic performance as Minister Mason. But
Yeah.
what if Minister
Very
Mason is
good.
just the future version of...
I'm Veruca Salt.
Get the heck out.
Now,
How are you
might
going to explain
think
this?
I'm reaching here because these two characters don't seem that similar.
Exactly.
At first. We don't know what Veruca is like after surviving the garbage chute. Remember, her and her father were trapped together, and there's a good chance she narrowly avoided getting incinerated. This could have traumatized Veruca and changed her entire outlook on life. Instead of being ungrateful, she now became too grateful, fanatically devoted to the graces of Charlie, who saved her life.
You people who will suck up the generous titty of Wilford.
But she still keeps her ill temper and tendency to insult people.
You know, I could see it. I can see it, but stretch.
They both have fur coats, and both of these characters always enter the room first.
I want to go in first before anybody else.
Ladies first, and that means Veruca.
Mr. Salt finally got what he wanted.
Her personality is similar to how she acted.
Member of Wilford's posse is the child catcher, Claude. And almost
With her yellow jacket.
her body type, her lack of impulse control,
God damn it, Claude! Mind the engine! She's getting sensitive recently.
and the fact that she eats her own blood. And there's a character in Willy Wonka that exhibits all of these tendencies.
Holy crap.
His name, Augustus Gloop.
Both of these characters.
Get the heck out, man.
Poor impulse control.
Augustus.
And members of the Gloop family are known to eat even inanimate objects. Claude might just be the daughter of Augustus Gloop.
Okay, hold up, because that's crazy. I mean, that right there, that sounds like the most abstract one, but yet it's the most believable. This is crazy.
Also, there's a candy in Willy Wonka that could be seen as the precursor to the flammable waste drug Kronel. No, it's not the everlasting gobstopper. It's the exploding gum for your enemies that Mike TV eats.
I told you not to, silly boy.
But there's one key signature element from Willy Wonka that isn't present in this linked Snowpiercer theory. But in a weird way, the fact that it's missing proves that these two films are connected. And I'm, of course, talking about the Oompa Loompas.
Yep. Jesus Christ, that's so terrifying. What the heck?
Surely, if this was indeed a sequel to Willy Wonka, wouldn't there be Oompa Loompas everywhere working on the train? Well, they would
talking about
have
the
been
mask?
if they
The mask
didn't
people?
go extinct. All of Wonka's prior transportation technology was operated by Oompa Loompas.
Oh, snap. Okay, so I think I know what he's getting at right now. So I think he's probably, from what I can think of, those are probably the children working in the train stations, like keeping the engine going in Wilfred's train. That's crazy. And hence why they were trying to like capture kids, because he used to maybe have like Oompa Loompas, or like because he probably couldn't have any Oompa Loompas, he decided to go after the closest thing to them, which, I mean, looks like children.
It was operated by tiny people.
The space only allows for a very small person. The engine
That scene was so
lasts
messed
forever,
up.
but not so all of its parts.
Jesus.
That piece of equipment went extinct recently.
Maybe it was because of the climate. Maybe it's because there is no female Oompa Loompa and thus they can't procreate.
I forgot all about that.
Wilfred Wonka needed the next best thing to keep his perpetual engine running.
Children.
Small children.
Yep. Okay, well, that kind of wraps up this video to kind of give some more insight on that. Do I believe it? Yeah, I actually think I could believe it. I mean, just all of the smaller details, they kind of actually add up. And if it isn't by any way related, it possibly could have been extracted from by the director Bong Joon-ho. Maybe he found inspiration in Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory. The theme of self-sacrifice and the theme of defying one's fate. Those are things I find to be very similar between the two films. If I can remember way back, now looking at it from the eyes of an older me, yeah, I remember the Oompa Loompas, obviously. I don't want to remember them. I remember the children going through these crazy devices, and obviously Wonka being so ingenious with his technology and how crazy and absurd it was, and how the fact that it was like in its own local park. I mean, one can kind of relate it to Disney World, and then warping it into a very dystopian world such as Snowpiercer, where these characters could have matured in all of the most drastic ways possible. So me personally, yeah, this was awesome. Thank you guys for recommending this to me. I thought this would be a really fun upload, because why not go off of the recent movie reaction that kind of brought you guys all to this page and check out that conspiracy theory. I know you guys have been wanting to check that out and see my reaction towards it too. So I'm hoping that you got what you came for. I'm hoping that you guys really liked my inputs, but also, I just wanted to say thank you, seriously, but from the deepest part of my heart. And if I could get a little bit more sappy, I just want to say thank you. I want to be able to, as a filmmaker, as a person, as someone who is going through these current times with all of you, I want to be able to hopefully, at the very least, shine a light into whatever day that you're going through. I know it's really hard right now, and I know times are very difficult, almost as if they're about to be Snowpiercer itself. But I want you guys to know that the comments, the likes, the subscribes, just hearing you guys voice your opinions, and you know, it means a lot to me, and I want you to know that I'm going to continue this. So please stick around and stay tuned, because like always, guys, we just getting started.
Purple jacket, pocket full of weed. Everything that I should ever need. Grab some matches cause they give them free. Just like my time. Hair pulled back in the